Washington XL 92.5 FM.
Hi, we welcome you in. Today's new drug is 1 day closer to the draft, 9 days from today. And we met with the Jaguars brass today. James Gladstone, the general manager. Liam Coen, the head coach. Met with all of us today. What'd you think?
I thought James Gladstone was very relaxed and loose, and obviously he answered the bulk of the questions as you would expect, with it being a availability geared more around the draft process and the operation. I thought it was fine. I think it's unorthodox how they're going about it, and again, this is stuff that James Gladstone learned with the Rams, and I get that. But I do think it's odd that they didn't want to do bring prospects in for the visits, the quote top 30 visits. They didn't want to engage in that, and I was really surprised they're not doing a local pro day, just because that just helps you, particularly in the latter rounds, the undrafted free agent guys. In terms of getting a better sense of athletically, what you have at programs like a Florida State, the Georgia schools, the other Florida schools down south, things like that. I think for the Jaguars, you're in a advantageous location for a local pro day, because you can invite every college football player basically, in the state of Florida, and some into Georgia. So, but again, it's their process, and it doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously he's got a way he wants to do it, but I thought it was interesting just hearing the philosophies of it. It wasn't necessarily because he got hired late and for efficiency's sake, there was some things they wanted to cut out. It just seems like philosophically, they just don't believe in the top 30 visits, and they don't believe in doing a local pro day.
I tell you my take on that specific. I got a lot of thoughts on today. My take on that specifically, I loved his answer. I'm not smart enough to know how much the 30 visits or the pro day help Hays. But I love the fact that whether it's that or something else, that we're not going to do it just because everyone's always done it. I love that. And again, I'm not smart enough to know if it's the right decision or not. I guess we'll know soon enough, right? But I love the fact that, well, wait a minute, you got to have 30 visits. Everyone always has 30 visits. That's what the NFL does. And I like the fact that it says, no, they're not what we're going to do. I mean, I'll bet it'll be interesting in terms of how they treat the combine in years to come. I think it'll be interesting. And again, whether that's the right decision or not, I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But I like the fact. I like the looseness and the independence. Might not be the right word. You know what I mean, though, Hays? I like the fact that this is how we do it, not how everybody else does it. This is how we're going to do it. So I kind of like that. So we'll see. I also like the fact that Gladstone's funny. He laughs at himself a little bit about intangibly rich. He knows that's like his phrase now. I liked it at the end when he goes, "When did I say it?" Well, you said it about 100 times, So, but I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it was. I like that. So we'll see. We'll see if they. But I enjoyed it today, and you're right. It mostly was directed at Gladstone. Liam talked a little bit about kind of what he's seen so far from his team and getting him on the grass a little bit. So, but I kind of enjoyed that. But something bad happened to the people of Jacksonville today.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, it did. Hicken and I did the podcast. It got me all fired up again. That could be bad for the people of Jacksonville. I could just be obnoxious all over again. I think what I might do today on the program, rather than talk about the Jags, rather than talk about the draft, rather than talk to our Duval County Scholar athlete, rather than get into the NFL and the start of baseball, I might just break down every moment of the last 5 or 6 games. What do you think? Is that a good plan?
It's a great idea.
It's thought out. That's what that is. Okay. So anyway, I mean, Hick and I doing the podcast. I got all excited again. I couldn't stop myself. I got all excited again. I did Duval Rundown with Mia today. You did it with her yesterday. And we talked about that. And Hick and I did the podcast. And I'm excited about all of it. But Hays, calm me down, okay? I'm not normal.
No,
I'm not a normal human right now. And that's what's happening to me right now.
It's not every day that you win a national championship. I mean, you gotta ride that wave as long as you can.
And by the way, people listening going, I hope he's kidding. I'm kidding, okay? The people that are going, he's not really going to do it again, is he? I'm not, okay? I'm not. It was a joke. Stay with me.
So Texas Tech is up 9.
That's right.
With 2:47 to play.
Oh, that's where my head is. So we're good. All right, a lot of things to get to. I am on top of the Jaguar draft luncheon. It was a good vibe. It's a restart. It's really a reboot with different philosophies, with different people in charge, and they're going to do things. To your point about the top, I hadn't thought about the pro day till you brought it up. You asked, by the way, Hays asked both questions today to James Gladstone, the one about the 30 visits and the one about the pro day. I hadn't thought about the pro day. I thought I was prepared for the 30 visits and they were prepared to be asked about that. The pro day I didn't think about until you brought it up. So the pro day, I really don't know how much that benefits teams, but it probably does benefit some players. That's one. Maybe players that didn't go to another pro day. Maybe a guy that's from high school here that went. So I never thought until you brought it up. I hadn't thought about the pro day thing. I had thought about obviously the 30 visits. So, but we'll certainly give you some thoughts about that. The other thing I want to do today, I want to go through Hays, all the positions, every position on the Jaguars, and how much of a need is it in this draft. Now, when I say a need, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh my God, they got to get one right away. What it means is they've got 10 picks today. That could increase, but they've got 10 picks 9 days out. How much do you think it's important? How important do you think it is? Let me say that better. How important do you think it is that they focus one of those 10 picks on position X? Let's go through the positions and kind of what we know they've got there. I think that'll be kind of fun. We've talked a lot about 5 overall. We haven't talked all that much about volume. What will they do? And I also want to talk about key guys that they may not have a need, but the guy might be there. Ashton Genty,
he's a perfect example. A lot of buzz about him today.
Yeah. So perfect example. So, and he's there at 5. I think they like their running backs. I don't know if they love their running backs, and I don't know that because it's a new regime, and we'll find out kind of where they are in those running backs. So, but that's kind of the point. So we'll talk about that. I will say this about the Gator basketball thing. Did I get you to watch Xavier Lee?
You did.
Did you watch it?
And it was 8.5 minutes that was definitely invested well.
Yeah, I mean,
he is a big-time player.
He's a big-time player that's going to transfer from Princeton to somewhere. I saw one, and all I know is what I read. I saw online that it was down to Florida, Kansas, and St. John's. Then somebody else responded and said Kansas is out. It's down to Florida and St. John's. And, again, who knows? He's from that part of the country, not here. And if St. John's means you get to live in New York City, and there's who doesn't love New York City? But I got to believe if it's down to Florida and St. John's, he's coming to Florida. Now, I have no idea.
Right.
And I'm biased as hell, and admittedly so. But if it really is coming down to those two basketball, one just won the dang title.
Right.
Well, the other one got upset in the early rounds.
I would think the NIL dollars stretch a little further in Gainesville than they do in New York City.
And I would guess there's more of them. And I don't know that. But I would just think that. So again, I'll say that, and he'll commit to Patino tomorrow. But I just think. Well,
in watching him, they're not the same body type. But Walter Clayton Jr. is more explosive. He doesn't, I don't think, get enough credit for that. But in terms of their offensive games, very similar in terms of they can score from anywhere on the court. Right. I mean, and he's a clutch player. A lot of the buckets he was making for Princeton came with them either down or trying to protect a lead late. But Xavier Lee, very good in terms of the step back 3, very good in terms of driving and finishing at the basket, and very good with pump faking in the paint and getting a shot off and making it. So I was very impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, he's a scoring point guard, which is what Clayton was this year. He's more of a glider than explosive. He's tall and lean. Clayton was more broader and a little shorter. Clayton's 6'3", he's 6'4", but he looks taller. He looks longer. He's more of a Zion Pullen type point guard, and that he's going to dominate the ball some. If you remember 2 years ago, not this year, last year, Zion Pullen dominated the ball a lot. He was a point guard that had the ball a lot, kind of like Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard was a point guard that had the ball a lot. Clayton was a point guard that got the ball out of his hands quick and then got it back for the 3. So there's different styles of how you play point guard, and this guy's looked like a guy that just from the 8-minute video we saw, that he's going to have his hands on the ball a lot. But I mean, a really good player that if he winds up going to Florida and pairs in the backcourt with Denzel Aberdeen, and they return, I don't think Condon's going to the NBA. They return a front court of Chinyalu, Condon, Hauk, Handlockton, and these 2 freshmen, C.J. Ingram and Alex Lloyd. If that's their first 7 or 8 guys, they may win the damn thing again. I mean, don't laugh. I'm not. They may win. They may win it again. I mean, they're going to have the best front court in the country because they returned the front court that just won the national championship.
Correct.
So they might So keep an eye if you like following stuff, and I think they're going to sign 2 guards in the portal, and I think this Xavier Lee is only one of the ones they're talking to, but I will tell you, they will certainly do this. They signed Xavier Lee and one of the guard. I'll tell you this, they'll start next year in the top 5 in the AP poll. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind.
Be hard to keep him out.
They'll be. Duke loses everybody. I don't follow national college basketball.
There doesn't seem to be a team that really brings everybody back
because nobody does anymore.
Correct. Everybody has attrition. It's just what level of it.
Yeah.
Are you facing? But yeah, I was surprised in the way too earlys. Florida wasn't in a lot of top 5s, which surprised me.
Yeah, that really is surprising.
But most of them caveated it with the front court and let's see who they add in terms of guards in the portal. So the ones that I looked at in terms of explanation, a lot of it was this could certainly rise higher. A lot of them were basing it on Condon not being there.
Right. Condon's going to be on.
And I think Condon will return.
I can tell you there's an expectation that Condon is wisely going to see what he has to work on. No, and I love Alex Condon. But nobody that watched Alex Condon thinks he's ready for the NBA. Now, could he leave early? What's the guy that was there with Castleton, the guy from Jacksonville that came over from LSU?
Fudge.
He could be like Jamal Fudge, who obviously wasn't ready for the NBA, but was ready to not be in college anymore. So he went and got a 2-way deal and may never play in the NBA proper. But that's not where this kid loves it there. This kid's on a national champion.
And you're probably looking at $500,000 probably or more.
Oh, I think more. I think Clayton got $1 million.
Okay,
I would be surprised if Condon doesn't get well north of a half. I'd be surprised.
So again, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
for
that's right.
For a guy,
because there's no guaranteed money by the way in the NBA.
Right,
first round's guaranteed. After that, it's not. So there's no guarantee, and he's never going to be a guaranteed first rounder. Even next year, he might not be that. So we'll see. But anyway,
and again, that's the other thing. He could jump. He's got the kind of ability that if in an off season, if he develops his shot a little bit more and instinctually gets a little bit better in terms of ball handling and stuff like that. Alex Condon could be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he's skilled. He's a true tough. 7-footer. He's tough. He's
got a lot of great qualities now, but he's in the areas where he's a little rough. There are areas that in an offseason you can get a lot better at.
Yeah, so we'll talk some of that coming up. But there's a lot of draft talk today. I want to should the Jags be interested in Jalen Ramsey, who's on the block now? What do we think of the quarterbacks in the draft? I got a lot of thoughts about that. So a lot of draft talk today coming up on the program. You didn't get a chance to weigh in on Nico Iamaleava yesterday, but I want to get your thoughts on that. We talked about it last week. I'm going to bring Brett Hastings in tomorrow for Sports and Courts. And the question I'm going to ask Brett tomorrow is, does he owe 10? If he signed a contract that guaranteed him $2 million a year, $8 million and he's leaving, can he just do that? Can Tennessee sue him? Everyone said it's like the NFL now, where guys hold out. Okay, well you can hold out in the NFL, but you can't go play. If a guy holds out from the Packers, he can't say I'm going to go play for the Bears. He's under contract. He either holds out, he either plays or doesn't,
and he gets fined.
Correct. How does college football? Everyone says he agreed to $2 million, a contract, and now he wants $4 million. Okay, that happens in pro sports all the time. But if they don't agree, you don't play. You don't just go play for another team. And I wonder what the legality is. So we'll Brett to kind of break that down tomorrow. But I want to get your thoughts on it as well. So we've got a lot of things to do today on the program. We'll start with draft talk. We'll start with our what we thought from the draft luncheon, but we'll start even before that with our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. That's how we'll kick off the program. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
It sure is great living in the golf capital of the world.
Blue skies, fresh cut grass, birds chirping.
1010XL, Jacksonville's golf station.
Geez, you love this golf stuff, huh? Oh, yeah.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here from my bank, South State Bank. South State has been committed to delivering world-class customer service that businesses like yours and mine can count on. From personalized support to cutting-edge banking solutions, South State Bank has blended the trusted traditions we all value with the innovation you need for tomorrow. Whether you're managing cash flow or investing in growth, South State Bank is here to help you move forward. Visit southstatebank.com or visit your local branch today. That's South State, member FDIC.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contracting protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Right now, get 15% off roof replacement and repairs. Financing is available with monthly payments as low as $115. But this deal ends April 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hays' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
It's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker, card games, and hospitality. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And it's not just poker. With delicious dining, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com and ante up for fun.
Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. There was a time when if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers. Pizza, pasta, bread, carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. Then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving that we all accepted as normal? That's gone for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need them. So when the server puts that bread basket on the table, I just smile, sit back, and say, nah, I'm good. That feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Baloo is on his way, and you can lose whatever you want to lose. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call at 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, you'll thank yourself.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, let's go!
And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
All right, it is time for our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. She comes from Andrew Jackson High School. Kendall Blathers joins us now. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. You're not nervous, are you? No, you're not nervous. You look relaxed and ready to go.
Oh, very.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Kendall, you participate in track and field, weightlifting, and swimming. You're a very good student at Jackson, but I know Hays asked you this beforehand, but tell us your favorite sport and why.
Weightlifting, because I've been doing it for 3 years, and it wasn't really a sport that I thought I would really be able to get into because I don't like working out at all. I don't like doing none of that. But I had met this girl named Catrice, and she convinced me to do it, and ever since then, I've been doing it for 3 years.
How did that go? She said we're doing it together?
She literally, she just dragged. They used to be dragging me there. And, I just be, falling in love with the sport. I love the sisterhood. I love my coach. I love everybody.
Very cool.
So, how much do you train for weightlifting? What's a week? A normal week look like?
Usually it would be 3 times a week because we would have meets, twice a week. So we would have training any other day that we don't have a meet.
All right. Now, track and field is now. You have a meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
You do the shot put. Tell us about that.
Well, again, I got dragged into doing shot put. But we usually, I'm not going to lie, I do not be going to practice sometimes. But usually I probably go twice a week because, all we do is really just throw the ball. So we just practice on that. And then I learned some new techniques. I be looking on TikTok. I be watching.
Yeah.
I be trying to get better.
Very cool.
But yeah.
In terms of weightlifting, what are your PRs?
For snatch, it's 105. Clean jerk, it's 150. And bench is 145.
Very
nice.
Cool.
And how much has that gone up as you've trained?
So my first year, I could barely lift the bar for real. 45 pounds was heavy, but as I got better and I trained more and pushed myself to do it because I knew I could lift the amount of weight that I know I could lift, I just kept training and trying to get better and learning more techniques, talk to my coach on ways how to get better, and then she helped me out, and that's how I was able to go to state this year. So, yeah.
And awesome. I was just going to say that you're a state qualifier, you're second in district, so you've taken it seriously, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Why was it important to you to get better? Because that's a cool story. Why is it important to get better?
For me, because, I fell in love with weightlifting probably after my first year because I just seen how good the sisterhood was. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I just love being a part of this sport. And my coach, she just made it better. She's not one of those mean type of she you could talk to her about anything. She's really supportive. She helps you get better as a person and as an athlete. So for me, my first year, I didn't even get to go. I didn't even compete in Gateway. So in my second year, I didn't compete in Gateway either. But this year, for my senior year, I competed in Gateway, districts, regionals, and I went to state. And I was I was so shocked that I even made it past districts because I never thought I would make it that far because I never really thought about my dream of being able to go to state in weightlifting.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kendall, do you know where you're going to go to college?
Right now I'm going to Daytona State for 2 years, and then after my 2 years, I'm going to transfer to FIU.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what do you want to study?
I want to study social work and a minor in criminal justice.
Why? Why those two?
I want to become a forensic psychologist.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's very cool stuff. Let's talk about some of the things you do away from both school and away from the athletic field. Okay. You're involved in community service, elementary school students. You read to them. Tell me about that. Why is that important to you?
I feel like it's important for everyone to do community service because you should always want to give back to your community. And I'm the type of person that always wants to help people. That's why I want to major in social work, to be able to help others less not as fortunate as I am, because I see the way that some people grow up, and I would want them to feel like they have a safe place in their community to be able to feel comfortable to do what they want to do.
Very neat.
Absolutely. You're involved in Girls in IT. What's that program like, and how have you enjoyed that?
Well, it's this little group in my school. I don't know when they started it, but I've been in it. I think this is my 3rd year being in Girls in IT, and they take us there. Their main focus is like with ViStar. So we've been to multiple hockey games. They take us to the bank. They teach us about different ITs, different types of jobs they have in IT. Because some people think just IT is just like working on computers and stuff, but you can like work on software. You can work on ChatGPT. Like it's a lot of other things with just IT than like computers and stuff like that.
All right. Well, Kendall Blathers is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. I think it's really cool that your goal is to get into the world and help people. I think that's really neat. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll bet you're going to do that too. I have no doubt. So Kendall, thank you. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Kendall Blathers is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. She is from Andrew Jackson. Again, she is terrific in the weightlifting realm, track and field, throwing the shot put. And she is going to help people. That's a cool story.
Absolutely.
I mean, that really is. Here's someone that her goal is to help people. I mean, you could see the sincerity on her face.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it really would.
She's going to be a real asset.
And there's no question. You can really. So congratulations to Kendall. We sure appreciate her stopping by. That is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. All right, we're going to talk more about this in a minute. We're going to take a break and come back. But overview, I'm going to get into specifics after the break. But I have a confidence level that Gladstone and Liam and Tony Baselli, who was not part of the press, he was there for a while, wasn't part of the presser, have a pretty good idea what they're doing. Now, whether they get it right, I think they're going to, but I'm a positive guy. But I guess where I'm going here, Hays, it seems organized, buttoned up. They have the roadmap. Now, whether the roadmap takes you to the right destination, we'll see. But and maybe it's just this overwhelming transparency that they're so. Do you get that same sense? Do you feel that way? That's my read on it.
The transparency is phenomenal, which tells you there's a confidence.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Confident people are transparent. People that are not confident are not transparent. Is normally how that works.
Great point.
And,
so true.
And so they exude that. Again, I thought James Gladstone was incredibly loose, and we've obviously seen many of these things now. And with many different people. And, I thought he came across like somebody who feels really good about the plan and their positioning and, their ability to help the roster.
Yeah, and look, you made a good point. We have the pre-draft luncheon every year. And they've all been good. Every time you go to one, the GM's loose, the coach is loose. They like having us there. Everyone's in a good mood because everyone gets excited, but they get excited about the draft. If fans listening get excited about the draft, so do they. Everyone's excited about adding to the team. The draft is a really fun time in the NFL. It's fun for everybody. Everybody's undefeated. Nobody loses the draft, so you're excited about that. And so all the groups over all these years, all the coach and GM meetings we've had before this have all been good. Yet there is a transparency and an air of confidence in this group. That's a great point. People that are insecure or not confident tend to sound like they're hiding things. And that doesn't mean Trent or Dave Caldwell, who I like so much, or so many of these other GMs were like that. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that is a really good take, is people that aren't confident or unsure want to be more guarded. People that are confident in their process, confident where they are, seem to be loose and transparent. I'm happy to tell you this, and this. Now, there's other things they're not going to show you. There were a couple questions that James Gladstone said we don't want to get into that because there's some competitive advantage by not getting into it. I think that part of it, he even said in his answer to you, in his expanded answer to you about why not the 30 visits. Part of it is he said, I don't want to be biased. And the guy we speak to most recently might be the guy we lean toward. But it also shows your hand a little bit. And so there's some competitive strategies, but rather than hide the competitive strategies, he was pretty transparent about saying, these are competitive strategies, which is why we do or don't do it. So the confidence, the transparency, and by one other thing too, that really helps. This really helps those two guys. And Tony fits into this and Liam fits into this, but James has this in volume. When you are an elite communicator, it's way easier to be transparent. You know what I mean? He's an elite communicator. He's wildly articulate and bright. And so It enables you to connect with whoever's asking you a question. And I think we're seeing that every time we talk to him. Seeing more and more of that every time we talk to the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it will really be interesting to see where it goes. And because I do think that there's a chance for this to be a wild success story. I also think there's a chance that it's going to be a disaster because again, just the newness of it for everybody involved. Everybody's doing this for the first time. But in terms of, their plan and things like that, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, my expectations are that it is going to be good times coming with James Gladstone and Liam Coen and Tony Boselli. And again, I think it helps that Boselli is able to give them a little bit of a roadmap on where the organization has been so that they're cognizant of some mistakes that were made in previous administrations. And, and because I do think there's something to be learned from that. And, I'm excited to see the path that they take, and it's going to start at 5. I mean, I don't buy into the narrative of the Jaguars could be stuck at 5. I just don't believe in a draft you can be stuck at 5. I just don't. To me, there's way too many good players to say that we're stuck at 5. Not that they have, but you've just heard that
Right.
from analysts that they could be in trouble at 5. I don't see that, but I do think there's a number of ways they could go, and that is what I think will be really interesting. My guess is it's a big guy, but look, I mean, there were there are people that believe that in terms of observers, not people that are running not Gladstone or Coen saying this, but there's an Ashton Genty camp. There's a little bit of a Warren camp, the tight end. So it's interesting to see. Obviously, Mason Graham is the guy that's been mocked to the Jaguars the most nationally. You're starting to see some Jalen Walker, which would be interesting. And I still think offensive line is very much in play at 5. So, and again, there's the whole other conversation of, will somebody call and want to make a move? And Gladstone was pretty upfront about, some GMs like to have at least the idea of the deal a couple days prior to the draft. We're way out. I mean, we're still like 9 days out. And you do need to see what happens in the first 4 before that 5th pick has value in terms of a trade talk. But you can set up kind of your first kind of conversation of, hey, if this and that happens, would you possibly be open to coming back to our spot? And, but it was interesting in hearing James Gladstone talk about that because he seems to be that it could happen while they're on the clock, and that would not bother him in the least.
Yeah, so we'll talk all about possibilities that could happen with number 5 overall. But moreover, we'll talk about all the picks and what they need to get accomplished in this draft. Let's take a break. It's Draft Talk now. We're 9 days out. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You know Dan Hicken.
Well, actually, where I come from, I'm considered something of a ladies' man.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
I've been on all sorts of adventures with this guy. A bunch of them.
They are The Drill.
You guys really believe that stuff, don't you?
Mornings on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interests first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas. Build a protective barrier around your yard and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those pests ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Duval!
lacrosse. What in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, get $300 off all windows or $825 off patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires April 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida. Be a big.
Travis Hunter is an exciting two-way player whose world-class athleticism and ball skills help him shine on both sides of the field. Hunter is an instinctive, natural football player with a feel for making the biggest plays at the biggest time. Jacksonville would need to make a decision on where and how to play Hunter if they drafted him with the 5th pick, but he's capable of making a good number of winning plays as a future star, no matter the choice.
Slacker plumbing.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need a plumber over here right now.
Yeah, well, we don't have any openings for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
I was just changing the shower head and the water line broke and it's flying everywhere.
All right, 1 week.
What if I throw you an extra $100 to come now?
What's the address?
It's 205.
Oh, I guess he changed his mind.
If you've got a leak that can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing and fix your plumbing problems fast. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Let AA Automotive and 1010XL guide you through the off-season. Who are Jacksonville's top prospects?
I know these players.
Listen for draft previews brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Two great locations now. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cass, had been there forever, right there where it meets Park. Nimnick Buick GMC is over here on Phillips Highway. I trust them so much. I bought my first car ever from Billy Nimnick Jr., God rest his soul, back in 1982. I've been buying cars there ever since. I trust them. I trust the Nimnick family, Billy Nimnick and Lee Nimnick and so many of those wonderful Nimnick folks that take care of you. And they'll continue to do it. Boy, that's a car dealership that's going strong. If you want great American-made cars, Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cass at Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. And I promise you, you can trust my friends at Nimnick. Let's talk some draft. Frangie and Carlyon with you. JJ LaSelva here as well. All right, let's start. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Right now, give me a name. No details. What are they doing at 5?
I mean, I would say the
without
chalk,
knowing more than we know.
I would say the chalk is very much in play.
Chalk holds
with
today.
Mason Graham.
Yeah. Chalk,
I mean,
chalk because chalk holds because the reality is Travis Hunter is not dropping. Okay, Carter's not dropping.
Right.
So, and they don't need a quarterback. So he's probably the best player available, and he certainly meets their needs. So at least for today, that's who it is. A lot of different things can happen. Okay, let's carry on. So that means let's go from the offense. With 10 picks, do they pick a developmental quarterback late in the draft, or do they ignore quarterback? They've got a backup in Nick Mullins. Do they pick a developmental quarterback or no?
I'm going to say they do not.
Okay, I think they do not. Also, I think if you want if you want some camp arms, they're everywhere. It would only be a camp arm. Trevor Lawrence is 25 years old, 26, I think, when he plays. So it's not like you need the just in case guy. You got that in mind. So I'm going to say no to. What will be the consensus if I ask 20 media guys? Same thing.
I would think so. I mean, there are GMs that believe you should always draft a quarterback in every draft. I don't think at this stage of where, like, let's say you took one and it just, to me, that they've got other needs. The odds that player would work out anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
But even if it does work out, if something were to happen to Trevor and this player beats out Mullins and ends up starting 4 games and does well, I mean, maybe you could trade get something for him in a trade, but it just doesn't. To me, it's not something that I think they're going to do, and I would imagine that most of the media that covers the team would, I think, be surprised if they took a quarterback.
And the camp arms are everywhere.
And it's a bad year for quarterbacks.
Yeah, right.
That's the other thing.
Right.
It's not like it's a
point.
great year. It's a bad class.
And again, you'd only be drafting a 6th round camp arm, and they're everywhere. Running back, assuming they take Mason Graham at 5, meaning Ashton Genty's long gone, do they take a running back with their 10 picks?
Yes.
I think so too. Tell me, expound on your thought there, and I'll give you mine.
It's a great year for running back. So they're sitting there with 2/3, 2 fourths, and then obviously a fifth, some 6s and 7. I would think at multiple points in this draft, they are going to be on the board, and there will be a running back that is great value at that spot, whether it's one of the 2 third-rounders or 4th-rounders. And I think it's going to be hard for them to ignore it at that point. And there is a little bit of uncertainty at the position. Etienne's in his final year of his contract, and Tank Bigsby has been inconsistent, I would say, through his first 2 years here. So I do think there is a need, and I think value is going to line up well with that need. So I would anticipate they will have drafted a running back by the end of round 4.
I agree that they're going to draft a running back. I'm not sure where, but I agree. Offensive line, they're going to address it. With how many of those 10 picks, in your opinion?
I think it could be as few as 1, because again, we're talking about the math, and if they keep 10 and they've added 4 in free agency, and then you add a guy in the draft, that's 5. Do they hate their in-house, what they've inherited so much that they would then add another draft pick? That's now 6.
Right.
So now you're basically only keeping 4 offensive linemen from last year's team. That seems pretty over the top. So I think it will be probably 1 offensive lineman, but high.
Especially when, in all likelihood, 3 offensive linemen from last year's team are probably going to start. If you had to do the depth chart today, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, and Anton Harrison are starters. So 3 of the 4 start. Could they cut Javon Foster, who the other regime drafted? Possibly.
Sure.
Not sure he's very good. Could they cut Luke Fortner, who was drafted a few years ago, possibly. But I agree with your point, so I think one. Tight end, assuming they don't take Tyler Warren at 5. I mean, I know that, like you said, there's a camp there, but I don't think they're doing that. Convinced they take a tight end?
Yes, because
They signed
again,
2 in free agency.
yeah, I think it's it's just deep. And the 2 guys they signed in free agency are definitely, I would say, more journeymen than, big time up and coming players.
There's not a move tight end there.
Yeah. So I would think that, again, I don't think they have to do it early, but again, with the depth at the position, I would think that, maybe 5th round is where they go tight end, maybe sooner, but I would think by the 5th round, they've probably selected a tight end.
I think they will draft a tight end. So we've agreed they're going to draft a running back, an offensive lineman, and a tight end. If everything goes according to plan.
After Mason Graham.
After Mason Graham is their first pick.
So we've covered 4 picks.
All right. Defensive line, in addition to Mason Graham. Will they sign another? Will they draft another defensive lineman?
They'll have to draft an edge.
You would think.
Yeah. And so so that will be a 5th edition and one that, could certainly be very high. I mean, again, there are people that believe Jalen Walker is going to be the pick at 5.
All right, so I was going to go there. Let's assume they take Jalen Walker at 5, who's an outside linebacker edge type. Do they then go get an interior guy later in the draft?
I think you'd have to. I mean, again, it's deep. That's one of the positions that you just don't want to ignore. A premium position that does have a strong class. So, yeah, I would think it could be as early. Look, I don't think it could be discounted that they go Jalen Walker at 5 and the best defensive tackle on their board in the 2nd round.
And it's a good year for them. It is a good year. One of the reasons that teams, not just them, are considering wide receiver early, it's not a great wide receiver year. It's a pretty good defensive lineman year. All right, very good. Linebacker.
You probably take one late because of the special teams value and things like that. But so I'll say I don't think they have to, but my guess is they probably will, but it'll be late.
I think they will, and I don't know that it'll be that late for me because they love Foye Oluokun. I think Ventrell Miller will be a starter on the weak side. I think that'll be 2 starters. I think Devin Lloyd will wind up being a Sam, which he's not played since he's been in Jacksonville. I think that's what he's going to wind up being. That's my take, my gut. But I don't know if they're sure that's going to work. Chad Muma's been okay, but I don't think he's been great. And I think that's a position where you can get better. And you throw in the fact that linebackers obviously can often be that core 4 special teamer. Liam Coen made a great point today. Someone said, how's it different for you as you evaluate players? And he said, listen, the biggest difference is when we watch players, I got to look at guys that might be good special teams players. He said, I've never had to do that. He said, I've been an offensive coach, so I've always watched offensive guys. Now, when you watch offensive guys, defensive guys shine too because you're watching offensive guys play. But he said, in my career, I've never watched, I thought it was a good take today, wasn't it?
Sure.
I've never watched a guy to see how good of a special teams player he'll be, but now as a head coach, that's all in there. So, but I think they will take. I think linebackers more of a need than some do.
And again, with the kickoff rule being adjusted again,
yes,
with the priority on these kicks will be returned.
Yeah,
having a linebacker that can cover on kickoff is important.
And if they keep kicking them out of the end zone, they'll move the damn thing to the 50.
Right,
they've already moved it to the 35.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm joking about the 50. I'm not about the 40.
Right.
I'll bet you. The competition committee wants freaking kickoff returns. I'll bet you they've moved the touchback from the 30 to 35. I'll bet you, Hays, if they keep bombing them out of the end zone, they'll move the damn thing to the 40.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I agree, but I do think this will
work.
This, I think, will get the team saying, all right, we can't just let them start at the 35. We've got to kick this ball and hope to tackle them at the 27, which saves us 8 yards of field position.
Instead of saving you possibly 2 and risking a big return.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, okay. Corner and safety.
Corner is, I think, a must at some point, and it could be very high.
I think very high. For corner.
So, I think good shot there. But corner has got to be addressed. Safety probably will be. It's one of those that it's kind of like the linebacker for me. You probably want to invest that position at some point, at least late. For the special teams value of it. So I would say definitely corner and probably safety.
Okay. The one position I left out, wide receiver. What do you think they do at wide receiver?
I mean, I think they have to take one. in looking at it, because I think their group beyond Brian Thomas Jr. is inadequate. So I think it's got to be added. Again, can it be, can they get away with adding it with one of the 2 third-rounders? Yeah, maybe, because it seems like there's pretty good depth. It seems like, not an elite receiver necessarily in this class, but receivers 1 through 15 are all, pretty good players. So, I would think that they draft a receiver, and I would think they will draft a receiver before Friday is over.
So we have now said running back, tight end, offensive line, edge, cornerback, safety, linebacker, receiver. We think they take one of all those. I still feel that way. We know this team's not taking kicker, punter. It's unlikely this team takes quarterback low in the draft. So we've gone through the 7 or so names.
Have we gone over 10 picks?
No, we're at 8.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we still have some room. But I do think you will see linebackers. I don't love their their group of linebackers after Foye and Ventrell Miller. And Ventrell Miller's a 5th round pick or 4th round pick. That's so I don't know that and I'm rooting for him because he's a really good guy. But I don't know that Devin Lloyd's going to fit what this team wants to do. He's a Sam now. I'll bet you I'll bet you he plays Sam. I'm guessing. No one's told me that. But I don't know. I don't know that Chad Muma and Lloyd. I don't know what's there after. Realistically, I don't know what's there, Hays, after Foye, Lewicott, and Ventrell Miller.
Yeah, and that's very fair. To me, I could see them adding. I think they can get away with at least trying to see what they have at that position through camp. And then if they're not overly thrilled with what they have at that position a couple weeks into camp, maybe you start a little bit of a veteran churn there. There are still a lot of linebackers that are looking for a deal that were playing last year. And so, maybe that's a position where you could get away with seeing if you have the answers in-house before starting that. So that's what I would recommend, because I just think they have other needs. But again, it's a totally new system, and they don't. It's getting a little long in the game to still be calling like Chad Muma an up and coming player. Well, he's been here since 2022,
right. And Chad's not a bad player, but he's not a guy that's ever flashed either. He just hasn't.
And the thing is, like, he's been here long enough now. There may still be a little bit of upside with him.
Yeah,
but. Again, and a lot has changed. This isn't a criticize Muma necessarily. I think he's done his best.
Yeah.
But and it's hard when the defensive coordinator keeps changing and things like that. But if I was them, I would try to see if I can get by with the linebackers that I have, and then if I get into camp and feel like I need to increase the competition in the skill there, that's when maybe I'd go out and sign a free agent that's, begging to get into a camp.
Here's what we do know, and as we wrap this segment, they're going to try all they can to use all those 10 picks. I don't think they're going to trade out of 5. I think they'd have some interest in it. I don't think, I told Mia this on the Duval Rundown today, I don't think there's enough quality to go get for anyone to go get to 5. I just don't think it's there. A lot of times people move up to go get a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders, by the way, seems to be not free falling. That's not fair, but he certainly hasn't raced up the list like I thought he would. Other than, realistically, other than Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, if Cam Ward's going 1, who do you go get? Who would you really use your draft equity? Who would you really use?
I don't think you can justify it. I don't.
Not in this draft.
I don't care how much a team loves Ashton Genty. You can't trade up into the first round to take a running back.
You sure?
In my opinion,
not that high.
Yeah,
if you're trading from 24 to 21, but you don't to go to 5.
Yeah,
it's going to cost you.
It's a big enough risk to just take a running back high in the first round anyway.
Right.
But to then also give up draft capital, even if it's just like a 3rd round pick, to move up to get him, and so he'd be really the only other one I could think of, because I just don't see there being another player, to your point, where a team is going to say, we've got to have that player outside of a quarterback. Now, Shedeur Sanders, there's the Giants have reportedly scheduled a private workout for him. Maybe, maybe the Giants will looking at Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston will will go back and have stronger interest in Sanders. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think Sanders doesn't go, but nobody wants to come up to 5 to get Sanders or anybody else. And the teams that they're just going to hope that that it falls to them, that either Sanders or Dart are available. And again, you're only talking about a couple of teams that really have a dire situation. I could certainly see the Raiders taking a quarterback. They got Geno Smith and they extended Geno Smith, but again, you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. I don't know that Geno Smith is. I mean, to me, you're starting yourself at a disadvantage if Geno Smith is your guy in that division. Again, we know Mahomes is obviously probably the greatest player in the league. Herbert is a good starting quarterback, and we'll see if Bo Nix continues to progress. But he looked very good as a rookie. So maybe the Raiders, would be interested in. But I think you just let it come to you at 6. I don't think you move up thinking, well, we've got to get to 5 with the Jaguars to make sure that no one jumps us. I just don't think either Sanders or Dart are good enough to be in that conversation. Now, again, it only takes one GM that falls in love with the kid and gets really desperate. But now my guess is they're going to be picking at 5.
We'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk some college football. 1 hour to go. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Wherever you go, there we are.
I know. I checked online.
1010XL is on your smartphone and tablet. Download our free app for all devices and take us with you around Duval and around the world.
Get ready for the best prices ever on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets at Beard's Diamonds. For 7 days, April 21st through 27th, you will get up to 40% off. Yes, 40%! Locally owned Beard's Diamonds always beats the big corporate store prices. But next week, they're taking value to a whole new level. All diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets are on sale. Big time. Best prices ever. You save up to 40%. Don't miss this first time ever buying opportunity. Next week only. And only at Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beard's.
We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Interest rates have plummeted. It's time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here, and if you're looking to get cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or do a home improvement project, Loan Pronto can make it happen in a matter of just days. Take advantage of this opportunity and get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards. Pay off your car loan. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info at loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs have put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation. But if you own a home, there's a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them all out. Get a lower mortgage rate. Get some money for that home improvement project. Do it all by going to loanpronto.com or call 904-999-1508. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. When you've been charged with a crime, you don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW. in the 904.
Take your taste buds to One Night Taco Stand for Taco Tuesday. Get $2.99 tacos and $6.99 specialty drinks. The 1010XL restaurant of the day is One Night Taco Stand, Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. There was a time when if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers. Pizza, pasta, bread. Carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. Then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving that we all accepted as normal? That's gone for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need them. So when the server puts that bread basket on the table, I just smile, sit back, and say, nah, I'm good. That feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Baloo is on his way, and you can lose whatever you want to lose. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call at 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, you'll thank yourself.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Prosser here. Spring has sprung, and it's a great time to sell your house, but only if you have the very best on your side, and those very best are Chad and Sandy Newman. Spring selling season's here. Rates are down. Activity's up. It's the best time in years to sell your home, in fact, but there are homes sitting on the market. They don't have the right representation. That's where Chad and Sandy step in. Maybe you're worried your home needs repairs or updating and it won't sell for a good price. Maybe your family's growing and you need more space. Whatever the reason that you need to sell your home, Chad and Sandy deliver this promise to you. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Sounds pretty hassle-free to me. Take it from Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine. We were determined to buy an affordable home in a specific school zone, but we didn't qualify for the loan needed to get one. Chad and Sandy's team worked with the lender, negotiated a higher qualification price, lower interest. It was huge, $200 less per month. Do it today. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. The Magic are in position for the NBA postseason as it all tips off for them tonight as they take on the Atlanta Hawks at 7:30 in the first game of the play-in tournament. Guard Cole Anthony explained how he's feeling about the game at shoot-around this morning.
I woke up with a big smile on my face this morning at like 8 a.m. I don't usually get up that early and feeling that good. So that just tells you what it is right there. It's a great day. We got a big game ahead of us, and I'm just excited to get in the court. And I can tell that's the vibe for everybody up in this gym. Everybody just can't wait for this game tonight. It's going to be a great challenge, but it's also a great opportunity. So I'm excited.
The winner of tonight's game, which will air on 10:10 a.m. at 7 o'clock, will play the 2-seed Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. It's 84 degrees at 5:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We sure appreciate our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Buick GMC. That's located right there on Phillips Highway. Easy to get to. It's where I get my truck. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett Avenue. They've been there for a long time. Cassett and Park in the early 40s. And that name, boy, you know when a name stays strong as long as Nimnick has in this market, boy, they're doing it right. Proud to be a spokesman for the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet, Nimnick Buick GMC. What did you make of the Nico Iamaleava? I get it right?
I think so.
Okay.
Works for me.
When you first saw the story? Because we had Jimmy on. You weren't here. Jimmy on.
Yeah.
And Jimmy came on before anybody. He said he's gone.
He's done.
Yeah, and that even shocked me when he said it.
Yeah.
And then he was right. He was done the next day.
I mean, I certainly commend Tennessee for how they handled it. To give in to a player, I will buy into if Nico had had a better season, then maybe Tennessee would have upped him. But again, I think that would have happened immediately. If Nico had a big time year last year, I think those conversations would have just organically happened. He didn't have a big year. I mean, he's certainly an impressive athlete, but he's got a long way to go from a savvy of the position. And we saw a lot of, situational disasters that he authored. And so, I think Tennessee handled it the right way. I mean, they were blindsided, obviously. And I think they risked losing the locker room by caving in and then giving him a bunch of money when he's just really proven to be kind of an average player. So I commend Josh Heupel and Tennessee on how they handled it. And, hopefully for their sake, they're able to find a quarterback that can, be as good or better. I'm really curious to see who signs Nico because to me, the team that signs him might as well be holding a sign saying we're the most desperate team in college football.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's right. First of all, let's start with how good he is. I think he's just okay, to your point. I thought when Florida played them last year, he was the third best quarterback in the game. I thought Mertz and Mertz got hurt. Mertz and Lagway both played better than him in the game. So I think he's just okay. The question I have, and again, hopefully Brett Hastings can clear this up for us legally tomorrow, but wasn't he under contract to Tennessee for the $2 million? And if now maybe by Tennessee saying they're moving on, that's them letting him out of the contract. But I thought that part was surprising. The other thought, the way bigger story here is not what happens with Nico in Tennessee, although that'll hurt Tennessee. Jimmy said Tennessee looks like an 8-win team now with a quarterback that was without much at quarterback. They got some coming, but not much there now. But how does this change all the stuff going on everywhere? Because there's quarterbacks all over the country now that are making $2 million or have agreement for $2 million. This isn't a new thing. There's all over the country. That's the thing. There's quarterbacks with these $2 million deals. How does this affect that is one question. And number two, how does it change your reluctance or willingness to give other guys deals? I mean, I'm like you. I applaud Tennessee, but I now wonder. I read somewhere, and it made a lot of sense that teams with Power 4 teams with quarterbacks are going to start locking them up, mid-level teams, so Tennessee doesn't go get their guy. Because Tennessee all of a sudden now has $2 million to spend on somebody, right? That's in their budget. Well, the last thing you want if you're Kansas State or Wake Forest or Syracuse is Tennessee coming with their $2-3 million and coming to get your guy. So I think people are going to start locking up their quarterbacks. I think that's not just because of Tennessee. Because the second thing is, and it combines something you said that Billy Napier said. Billy Napier said after the spring game that about 98% of his team have agreed to deals. Didn't the phrasing of that shock you?
It really did.
Even though it's true.
Yeah, it's just totally different world.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
we got to sign all our guys to contract.
That comment was said 5 years ago.
Right.
It would have been blue chips in real life.
Right. That's right.
It would have been the most incendiary quote a coach has ever said in college athletics.
Yeah.
And obviously it would have been that coach's last day on the job. But it's professional sports now. I mean, it just is, except it's even kind of worse because there's no collective bargaining agreement in place. So it's professional sports with absolutely no rules. And that's going to lead to uncomfortable situations at times, like what Tennessee had, and they won't be the last school that this happens to. But yeah, and it's just the way of the world now. And this is before we've even gotten to the revenue sharing, coming online, where every school that opts in, which will be all of them in terms of the ones that play major football.
That's right.
They're going to have $20 million to share with the athletes before you even get to the NIL money, which will always be uncapped. So, again, until there's CBA, which we're a decade from at a minimum,
right.
I would say. So, yeah, it's just it's going to be awfully difficult to navigate these waters, and that's why I think it was smart on Florida's part, and I think this is what schools are doing. You get, and you end the season and you have exit interviews with players. Some players you're going to say, hey, you probably need to move on. It's not really working for you here. We'll help you. Give us an idea where you might want to go, and we'll make a call. And for other guys, it's going to be like, okay, well, you were making $150,000. We now want to pay you $500,000. And can we get this done and locked in? And that's, I think, where it is. So, particularly for a program that does well high school recruiting, it's going to be way more about retaining than it's going to be about going out and spending big in free agency. It's the same thing with the NFL draft. The teams that draft well, do not have to be very active in free agency. The teams that stink at drafting have to go out and throw tons of money in free agency. So at the college level, what you want to become is that school, like a Georgia that is recruiting at an unbelievably elite level,
and
like Texas.
And developing.
Recruiting at an unbelievably elite level. And you may go get a guy here or there, but you're relying on your draft, your recruitment is the heart of your roster. And it's the teams that don't particularly recruit well that are going to have to dip into the portal for way more of their talent than what I think is probably a good balance. Because the other thing that we're seeing, we've never seen such volatility in blue chip programs, but we're going to see it now with the portal, because there's going to be years like there is in the NFL when you sign a bunch of free agents and maybe it doesn't work out, like the Jaguars last year, where do you bring in portal? Look at FSU. Who could have ever dreamed FSU football would go 2-10 in a season? It's unthinkable. I mean, unless they lost like 40 players to injury. It's unthinkable. Well, it happened. Why did it happen? Because they lost a bunch of kids in the portal. They had to bring 30 more kids in, and they weren't any good. Look at Florida. I don't know as much about Florida baseball in terms of their roster build, but they start out 1-11 in the league. I would assume that's got something to do with whoever they brought in from the portal.
Right.
Probably didn't turn out to be the players that they were hoping. Now it seems like Sully still relies more on the recruiting component.
Yeah.
But that's where I think that's where it's going.
And I think you're right. And that's the changing face of college athletics. Recruiting versus free agency. Free agency will now replace it. But it'll be very interesting to see, to your point, what do Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama and Clemson and LSU do? Teams that recruit particularly well. Well, I'll tell you what. LSU was very active in the portal. Ohio State won the national championship last year with a transfer quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia goes and finds a transfer quarterback this year. So even the most stealth recruiting programs still go out and need to find key guys or they don't win. I mean, the reality is they either find the guys or they don't win. I think we're going to get to a day where 50% of the quarterbacks in FBS are transfers. I think that number's going up.
Absolutely.
I'll bet that number's going to go to 60 or 70%, and very few are at the schools where they stand. All right, let's take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here for Nimnick Buick GMC. You can experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0%. You heard me right. Now, look, you can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. Nimnick also has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Curious about an EV? Save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV, SUV, and truck. You get it. Nobody's got better stuff than Nimnick. Now's the time to experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC. So who has put the most years and stands behind a better experience? Well, the answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. We are professional grade GMC.
Let the excitement of the game take you away.
Flies back on top of the college basketball world championship madness.
Your home for play-by-play is 1010XL.
It's a great day to be a Gator.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. Setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear. Deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppable bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppable, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida. Be a big.
If Liam Coen is looking to replicate what he had in Tampa Bay with a pair of talented receivers, the 6'4" Ted McMillan would be amazing to pair with Brian Thomas Jr. McMillan is a possession receiver with the size and ball skills to create big wins deep. He also has a knack for adjusting his routes and working back on throws, which would certainly make Trevor Lawrence's job a whole lot easier.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
We certainly appreciate our friends from Harrell & Harrell. You can give them a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them. Hopefully you won't get injured. But it happens in life, and they are who you should put your trust into. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank, let's get started with that Jaguars draft luncheon. James Gladstone, Liam Coen meeting with reporters for about 20 minutes earlier today. What were your big takeaways?
Yeah, number one, how loose and confident they are. How laid back he is about all his phrases, including intangibly rich. I think they've got a plan. I applaud them for not saying, well, everybody in the league does 30 visits, so we have to do it. No, we're going to do it our way. So, I don't think they showed their hand on what they're going to get, nor should they. So I didn't learn a whole lot, nor did I expect to. But I think there's alignment, confidence level, security in what they're building. I'm very confident that that's where they are.
There's a bunch of draft intrigue around the league. We're going to start in New York with the Giants, who have reportedly set a private workout with Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Can the Giants, maybe at 3, surprise us all and take Shedeur?
Yeah, I've been all over the place on that. At first I thought no, then I thought he's going to climb into the top 5 and going to be one of those top 5 picks, which will ensure the Jags have more players available at 5. Now I don't think so. He seems to be fading a little bit. If I'm the Giants, I roll the dice on him, unless I just don't like his character, don't like who he is, because why not? At this point, he's a pretty good player. He may not be worth the 3rd overall pick in the draft, but I would roll the dice. So in my mind, it's 50-50. I think there's a chance they do it.
Yeah, I think there is too. I mean, as you get closer to it, you're going to have the realization of your quarterbacks are Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Right.
I mean, what is possibly the ceiling on what that season can look like?
Well,
I mean, at best, you're winning 8 games.
And we've seen now that both those guys have become average.
Right.
Russell Wilson was a really good player once upon a time.
Yeah.
But right now, they're two average players.
Yeah, so that's going to be one worth monitoring. We will see if anything comes out of that workout. Sanders' teammate, Travis Hunter, says no teams have told him in the draft process that he cannot play both ways. So Travis Hunter is expecting to be a two-way player in the NFL.
He said recently that he would quit football if he didn't get to play both ways. Well, I doubt that. I doubt he's going to pass up the tens of millions he's going to be paid to play football. But my guess is he's going to get drafted as a cornerback. He will be a starting cornerback for somebody, possibly the Browns or the Giants. He will be a starting cornerback who will get to run 7 to 10 routes a game. That's my guess. I don't think he's going to start both ways for anybody. I think he will be a starting cornerback that'll play wide receiver 7 to 10 plays a day. What do you think?
That's what I thought throughout most of this draft process, but I now think that it seems like most teams really do have him valued more as a receiver than corner. So I think it might be that he plays receiver full time and gets a little bit of time on defense.
Interesting.
We'll see. It'd be fun. Really be fun if he dropped to 5. Don't think there's much chance of that, but
that would be fun.
We can dream. Let's get it to the Miami Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey have both agreed to mutually explore a trade.
Not interested for me. I don't know that he's intangibly rich.
He's definitely not that.
Now, look, if he winds up here, I'd be excited about the fact. I hope he gets 8 interceptions and goes to the Pro Bowl and leads the Jags deep into the playoffs. But shy of that happening, I'd be a little surprised if the Jags were players there.
I would be shocked if the Jags are in it. And the other thing, too, is I don't think there'd be much interest on Ramsey's part to come back here. I mean, I think part of the reason that he wants out of Miami is the Dolphins look like a team that's taking a step back.
They do.
And I think Jalen Ramsey, he has won a ring, but I think he wants to go to a team that, you know, is in contention for the Lombardi Trophy. So I would anticipate that Jalen Ramsey will end up with a team that is expected to win double-digit games or more. Let's get it to college football. The SEC has announced when its football media days in Atlanta will be this summer, July 14th through the 17th. Florida is scheduled to speak on Wednesday, July 16th. Georgia will speak on Tuesday. Who should Billy Napier take to Atlanta?
Yeah, good question. DJ Lagway, without question, should go. And I'd be shocked if he doesn't go. I would imagine Caleb Banks will go. He might be their best, most known defensive player. Or maybe Tyreek Sapp. He's a good quote. So I'd say Sapp or Banks. Lagway, they take 3 now, right?
Yeah. Slaughter.
Lagway, Slaughter, Banks.
Yeah.
That'd be my 3.
I'm not sure he's going to take Lagway.
He should.
He should.
I mean,
you
may not,
but I wouldn't.
You should always take your quarterback.
I completely agree.
But I could also see Slaughter, Banks, Sapp.
Yeah.
And no Lagway.
Yeah. We'll see.
Slaughter should go.
But it's hard to believe we now have a date. So
here we go.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Here we go.
About 3 months away. We'll be talking season.
Yeah, it will.
In Atlanta. Let's get it to golf. Rory McIlroy still buzzing over that Masters victory. Let's peek ahead a little bit to next month. The PGA Championship is at Quail Hollow, which is a normal stop on the PGA Tour. It's hosted the Wells Fargo Championship for many years. Frank, Rory McIlroy has won 4 Wells Fargo championships at Quail Hollow. Is Rory McIlroy, in your mind, an overwhelming favorite to win the PGA?
No question. I think he is. And Quail Hollow is he's won in the, not that it matters, but he's been playing very well in the Southeast. He's played well here in southeastern weather in Jacksonville. He was in Augusta. Quail Hollow's in Charlotte, for people that are wondering. Yes, I think he's the overwhelming favorite. And now, look, they could be playing in Spokane, and I would still say he's the overwhelming favorite. But it is, of course, not terribly different climate-wise, citizenry, than, of course, is the two southern. I mean, Jacksonville's a southern city. Miami's not. Jacksonville's a southern city. Augusta's a southern city. Charlotte is a southern city. I think it fits. It does.
In terms of Masters ratings, it was a bonanza for CBS, the highest since 2018, as an average of 12.7 million people watched. The peak reached 19.5 million viewers between 7 and 7:15 as the tournament was wrapping up.
I told you this. For me, it rivals 1986 with Nicklaus and 1997 with Tiger is the most drama-filled Masters of all time. And you brought up Mickelson's win. Okay. But for me, the top 3, Nicklaus in 86, Tiger in 97, and now Rory in 25.
Yeah, it was spectacular. Absolutely a spectacular Masters and a spectacular champion. Let's get to Major League Baseball. JJ, I'm coming to you for our Braves report. Atlanta is 5-11. Only 2 teams have fewer wins. Where is your panic meter right now?
I'm not panicking. I just think they're an average team. They'll probably finish around 500 and miss the playoffs. Simple as that.
What's wrong with them?
They don't hit. They can't hit. Same as last year.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
it just, guys, it doesn't seem like a team that doesn't hit.
I know.
I mean, but you're right. No, you're dead on. It just seems like it doesn't seem like a team that wasn't going to hit. It just doesn't.
One team that maybe we could have seen this coming, but it's still a little surprising. Frank, your Pirates, the batting average is below 200 as a team.
Lowest average, lowest slugging percentage, lowest OPS in all of baseball. I'm not surprised. They couldn't hit last year. They added nobody, and they can't hit this year. Okay? Let me say that again. They couldn't hit last year. They added nobody, and they can't hit this year. You know, it ain't rocket science, bro. Yeah. Okay? They're. I mean, they'll win.
I can't wait till they play the Braves. Sounds like a great matchup.
You know what? They'll win when Skeens and Keller pitch most of the time. No, that's 40% of the games. No, there's no chance they win 40% of the games. Okay, but no, they can't hit a lick. They're terrible. I mean, I watch every game. They're terrible.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Let's get to the
again. Let me say this again. Couldn't hit last year. Added nobody. Can't hit this year.
Yeah.
So we're good.
In the world of the NBA, the play-in games are tonight. Atlanta, at least it starts tonight. Atlanta is at Orlando. The winner gets second-seeded Boston. The loser, of course, moves on to the next play-in. They play the winner of the play-in and the whatever. I hate this play-in thing.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's Atlanta and Orlando are the 7 and the 8.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit of an edge over the teams that are in the 8-9. They're not done with a loss tonight, but hopefully for the Magic's sake, they take down Atlanta and move on to face Boston.
Yeah, look, NBA, if you were going to have play-ins, have the 7 play the 10 and the 8 play the 9, and then the 2 winners play the 1 and the 2.
Right.
The way they're doing the 7, 8 play each other, and the 9 and 10, and the 9 and 10 are out, it's dumb.
Yeah.
You should set the 7 play the 10, and the 9 play the 9.
Right.
And they become the 7 and the 8. I mean, that's don't be stupid.
You would think. Memphis is at Golden State. On the other side, the winner there will get second-seeded Houston. Kind of interesting to see Golden State in the playing game.
It's weird. I mean, again,
they're 0-3 in playing games.
Correct. And look, the guys get old. You know, obviously Klay Thompson's gone. Curry's old. Draymond, and I get it. It changes, but it feels weird, doesn't it? It feels weird that Steph Curry's still in uniform. Steve Kerr's still the coach, and they're still in these playoff games.
One big NBA story, the Suns say Kevin Durant will be traded this offseason. I'm curious for you guys. I don't watch enough of it, but in your opinion, does it hurt KD in terms of legacy that he's played? This will be his, whatever team gets him next, it'll be his 5th franchise. Does that hurt legacy in the NBA?
Oh, yeah.
I would say so too, right?
Especially because he's never won by himself. You know, the only time he really won was with Golden State. Yeah, he's become like I don't know, played with the Nets at this point, played with the Suns, and they stink. It's it's kind of sad to see him go from place to place like this because he is one of the all-time best scorers.
Yeah, I agree with JJ. He's a great player.
He's like a bounty hunter at this point.
Yeah, correct. And he's a great player that will go down as not nearly as impactful as you would have thought he would be because he needed, to JJ's point, other stars to win. So he was.
If he stayed at OKC, I mean, they could have won that.
Yeah, you never felt like he carried a team to something special. It looked like he went and jumped on board with the other teams. I mean, even when he got to Phoenix, that
was with
with Booker, and it looked like they had a really good team.
And they have Beal there now too.
Yeah, didn't work out. Let's get into sports media. Netflix is releasing a documentary on Brett Favre titled The Fall of Favre, which appears to focus on Favre's life after football. Debuts May 20th. Any interest?
No.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I'm sure the state of Mississippi political stuff is what's going to be featured prominently here, but I didn't do much more. How about you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting. It'll be one of those things where, I'll read the story that somebody writes about what's revealed in it, but I don't know that I'll devote 2 hours.
I never became a guy that locked into the 30 for 30s I wish I had. Now, when COVID hit and nothing else was going on, and we watched Tiger King and the Michael Jordan thing, that's different. But other than that, I've never, as far as in mainstream life, when there's 20, 30 of them out there, that's just me. I've never been a guy that locked in on.
I also was never a huge Brett Favre guy. He didn't captivate me like he did a lot of other NFL fans.
Same way. I'm saying, hey, look, he had his great moments. But
sure.
But I'm like you. Same here.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. In local media, hat tip to First Coast News chief meteorologist Tim Deegan, who is retiring after a 42-year run at the station. So congratulations, Tim. Fantastic stuff. And congratulations to Lewis Turner, who will be filling Deegan's role. Two great dudes.
Yeah, no question about that. And the one thing Jacksonville has is people that do it a long time. Channel 4 was legendary for all those guys. I mean, Tom Wills and Mary Bear and George Winterling before them. Tim Deegan certainly at First Coast. So a lot of guys that have done. Jacksonville has people stay a long time in those roles, and certainly those guys are among them.
Absolutely. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. We're celebrating the anniversary of David Bowie's 15th studio album, Let's Dance, released this week back in 1983. Yes, China Girl is 43 years old. This was Bowie's most successful commercial album at 10.7 million copies sold. The sessions, I did not know this. The sessions included a then unknown 28-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan on lead guitar. This is Modern Love.
I didn't know that either. I probably not my favorite. Great song and great upbeat dance song. 80s Bowie probably isn't my favorite Bowie, but it's certainly a great album, a great song. Well done as always. We'll be back. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show
from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NBA play-in tournament will be on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Series that are already in place starting this weekend. Detroit against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference. Knicks minus 400 to take that series. Detroit is plus 290. Also in the East, the Indiana Pacers facing the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers minus 200 to emerge to the second round. Milwaukee is at plus 170. Over in the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves facing the LA Lakers. Lakers minus 200 to get to round two. Minnesota plus 160 to win that series. The Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Denver and the Clippers both minus 110 to advance to the second round. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple bill. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound and Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
With Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Best Bet is number one. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mac and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Cassa Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey,
Jacksonville, Lauren here for Big Chief Tire. Tax season is the perfect time to invest in your vehicle. Use your refund to tackle overdue tire replacements, brake repairs, or routine maintenance. Big Chief Tire's skilled technicians ensure every dollar counts, keeping your car running strong. With 5 convenient locations around town, fair prices, and trusted expertise, they've got you covered. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwood, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Coen Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Coen Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at CoenFlowers.com.
If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jacks cool since 87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? We talked a lot of draft today. The Jaguar draft luncheon was today. James Gladstone and Liam Coen, the general manager and head coach, respectively, met with the media. And I, again, talked about intangibles, talked about what they're looking for, how they're building it. Didn't really show their hand with specific players, nor should they have been. But it was a fun little get-together. Hays and I went through all the positions the Jags might address or you would think could address, and we certainly talked about that today on the program as well. We talked a little bit about the whole Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders thing, see where he winds up, Jalen Ramsey. We got to that as well. We talked a little bit of college basketball and this guy Xavier Lee, who Florida is trying to bring in over the course of the show today. And, of course, we talked about Nico, the Tennessee quarterback, and how that might change college football. That is where we've been over the course of the program today. I did see this, by the way, that Colorado is going to retire Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders' number. With all due respect, what in the world did Shedeur Sanders do to get his number retired? Other than being Prime's son.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
Okay,
sure.
I retire his number. But what did Shedeur Sanders do to get his number retired? I mean, is Cordell Stewart's number retired? He won a title there, and maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess obviously the exposure that Colorado has received has been, worth probably hundreds of millions of dollars, but that's more Dion than it is Shedeur. And but obviously,
I don't care.
Right. I mean, I did think it was a little odd, and it's always odd when you retire a number of somebody who was just playing for you like 2 months ago.
Right.
But
that didn't win the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
I mean that's kind of the thing. So.
And how long was he even there? A season or 2?
2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Travis Hunter is a generational college player.
Right.
He played both ways. He won the Heisman Trophy. I voted for him. He deserved to win the Heisman Trophy. Anyway, I just.
Let me ask you this: should Florida start doing any sort of like statues or anything to honor the basketball national champions?
We talked about that. I don't know if statues are the thing because who do you make them of? Billy? Who else would you make it of?
I'd make it of the whole 04s.
Well, if you did statues for every player, that would be a lot of statues.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, like, can't you do a statue where they're all sort of like
one statue,
but you can kind of make them all out? When I say all, I'm talking like Noah, Horford, Brewer, Billy, Torian, and Lee.
Yes, you could. Yeah, they certainly. If you were going to do it of anybody other than the Heisman winners, they certainly deserve it. I just think you'd have to be careful. Do you now have to do Harvin when they won a title? Do you have to do Chris Leak?
Right.
You know, you'd have to. They'd start adding up.
Right.
You know. And
with football, it's the 3 statues that they have.
Yeah.
Well, those represent your national titles.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I get that Leak was the starting quarterback on 06, but they don't win the title without Tebow that year as a true freshman.
I agree, but I would think you'd have to. When do you draw the line? Do you start doing baseball titles? Do you? But I will say something. They're in the O'Connell Center, Exact Tech Arena. They should do. They hang the banners, but I wouldn't mind seeing in the arena because that's a basketball arena. I know they have gymnastics there, but that's a basketball indoor track. But it's a basketball arena. I wouldn't mind seeing the 04s, all 5 of them, and you might put all 5 of these guys all there. Although the guy that belongs up there is Clayton,
right?
Clayton, and I'll say it again. Walter Clayton Jr. is the greatest player in Florida basketball history.
You're right.
He is.
I mean, without a doubt. Now, I mean, we did this kind of, I think, early in the tournament.
Yeah.
And my response was, not yet.
See how he does.
But now that he's delivered a national championship, and with the numbers that he put up over those 2 years, he's the greatest player they've ever had.
Yeah, because again, there's only 10 starters in Florida history that have ever won a national championship. The 5 starters were the same 5 starters both years at 6 and 7, and these 5. There's only 10 guys ever done it. There's only 10 starters that have ever won a title. Now, Thomas Houck won a starter, but he mattered as much as. But only 10 starters have ever won a title. And of the 10 starters that won a national title, none impacted that title more than Walter Clayton Jr. did. None of the guys on those 06, 07 teams impacted. It really is amazing what he became. It really. I'm going to repost it on X or retweet it, whatever. The guy, the Gator Florida Basketball Hour guys, they did a collage of. Did you see that today? A collage of Walter Clayton Jr. moments. It's pretty amazing. Then when it had the driving shots, it had the big threes. It also had. I lost track of how many logo threes. I mean, 2 steps over half court, and he shot them like he's shooting a 12-footer.
Yeah.
I mean, with the ease, you're shooting a little mid-range jumper, and they go in, and so no, you're right about that. So it'll be interesting to see. By the way, what kind of a pro will he be? I don't know the NBA well enough to know to have a good feel
I would think he's got a chance. I mean, it probably depends on the system and the environment, like we talk about with the NFL draft. But I would imagine that he's got a good chance to at least have a role. I don't know if
probably
he's got,
right away.
Yeah, an NBA.
Isn't he an older guy?
He is an older guy.
Yeah, some team's probably going to draft him to play right away.
But, I mean, will he be good enough to be a starting guard that could be an all-star? Will he be that?
I don't know. I don't watch him with the Gators, so that'd be hard for me to say.
And I don't watch enough of the NBA to know that. But
either.
I would say that. So I'd probably say no to him becoming an NBA All-Star.
Right.
But look, I'm not betting against him.
If you can get that 3-point percentage around like 40%, man, you're an All-Star in the NBA.
Well, I will tell you this. My guess is you can't double him because you got all the NBA players around him. My guess is he's going to make a boatload of threes in that.
Okay, and he'll be a great player.
He's an explosive athlete.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he gets the credit. He's had a couple of Thunder dunks, but I mean, his closeout in the national title game.
Right.
I mean, he came from nowhere, and all of a sudden, what we were talking about this today at the availability with D-Rock and Mark Long and guys that. Right. D-Rock asked, could he have still shot it? Well, there was no chance.
It'd have been blocked.
Right in his face.
He'd have shot it right into his palm.
Yeah. I mean, that was the level of explosiveness that Clayton showed on that after you've basically been on the court for 40 minutes.
Right.
And, I mean, he is an explosive athlete. So I think – I'm not sure he gets enough credit for that, but certainly his range is incredible. And he's a versatile offensive player. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know about NBA All-Star, but I certainly think that he's going to help somebody. And Todd Golden seems convinced he's going in the top half of the first round.
And the draft is not like the NFL where it's like 6 months away. It's right around the corner. And Summer League.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You'll be able to watch your boy in an NBA uniform this summer.
Yeah. We'll by the way, What's next for Elijah Martin? Did I tell you what I would do? I told Hacker. Did I tell you?
Mm-mm.
If I was Elijah Martin, I'd pursue football. He's an elite athlete. He's 6'2", 215. He can run. There's a lot of basketball guys that pursue football that wind up in football. Jimmy Graham and others.
Right.
I'll bet you as a safety. Now you know how football players are freaks, in terms of being able to take the hit and all. But it would not surprise me. Remember Micah Ross? Micah Ross was a local guy at Jackson High School, great athlete, played basketball at JU. Then JU started football, played football at JU, and then was on the Jaguars for a few years, mostly as a special teams guy. So I would not be surprised. All right, let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
You were on hand for that availability today.
I was.
What'd you take out of it?
A couple of nuggets that I have a better understanding of, and I thought it made some sense, but didn't give a lot away today.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, and they never do. But again, some reasoning about the 30-day or the ability to bring in 30 players and why he does not, and talking about being intangibly rich. Got a little bit of a clearer definition on some of that, but as far as which direction they're leaning position-wise, no. Close to the best.
Are you in they're going to take Mason Graham camp? Have you said that?
I'm starting to get more and more of a vibe that they may take Genty.
Yeah, okay.
They may do it. Now, that really
would not shock me.
Yeah, that's really Adam Kaplan last week really kind of began to stir up that hornet's nest. And I heard Prisco say it to you guys the day after that if you look at the best 3 players in the draft, he's one of them.
Right.
With Carter and Travis Hunter. And, yeah, I didn't get a chance to ask a second question today. I wanted to. But, Hays and I have talked about it. I've heard this is a 6-player draft with 6 first-round picks, maybe as many as 9.
Yeah.
If you're at 5 and you don't love a guy and you can't trade down, no, it doesn't make sense to get a running back position-wise, but why not get one of the 3 best players in the draft?
And it would not shock me, and it would not be surprised if they ultimately move on from Travis Etienne. Well, obviously you're going to if you take Genty. And Tank Bigsby remains your other back. Here in the NFL is you need 2 or 3 backs. You need real backs, not just substitute backs.
Yeah, I think there's a role for Etienne this year in the final year of his deal, only because of the screen game.
Yeah.
Tank doesn't have hands.
Right.
But they have made such a big deal about trying to take pressure off of Trevor Lawrence and certainly building up that offensive line. So, it's just a thought. Then every time I think of, you can't take a running back that high. Well, this organization took Leonard Fournette at number 4.
Yeah. Good to the point. All right, very good.
And that didn't work out too well, except for 1 year.
Yeah, what's tonight?
We got all that tonight. Everything on Gladstone and Coen. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. Dewey Bunnell of America is going to join us tonight.
Oh, how good is that?
They're coming into town next week. Yeah, looking forward to doing that.
When is that going to be?
That's going to be at 6:42.
All right, I love that.
I know Jack got blue. You stick to sports, stick to the.
Well, you know what? I'll be
taking a 10-minute hiccup with Dewey Bunnell, but outside of that, nonstop Jacks.
Now, I should know this. Is he the tall one that sings Sister Golden Hair, or is he the shorter one that sings more of the 80s songs?
I believe he's the taller one.
He sings Sister Golden Hair and Daisy Jane.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be listening. Yeah. No question about that. I love that.
Air Force guy.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, he was actually born in England, but then came here. Then they went back over there and formed the band in England. They called it America because they were American kids in England at the time.
Did you realize that?
I did not.
They were American kids on an English base, and they called their band America because for the reason Rick just said. It's a great story.
That's coming up as well.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. I'll be listening to that. I'm a big fan of America. Rick knows rock music better than anybody I know, but I'll be listening to that one for sure. Folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick's next. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.